Welcome, learners, to the deep dive. Today, we're grappling with a truly profound and challenging story, a timeless tale of love, sacrifice, and one woman's journey to really deep self-discovery.
We are diving into C.S. Lewis's Till We Have Faces, a myth retold.
Hmm.
It's this powerful reimagining of the classic Cupid and Psyche myth, the one where mortal curiosity almost ruins divine love.
Yeah.
But Lewis flips it. He tells it through the eyes of Psyche's older sister, Orual, who's often just overlooked.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack Oral's, her fierce initial accusation against the gods. We want to track how her understanding of herself and her world evolves.
And ultimately reveal the frankly startling answers she finds about love, divinity, and what it means to have a face.
It really challenges your assumptions about beauty, devotion, everything. So how does Oral kick things off? How does she set the stage for this lifelong complaint?
Well, she starts with this really arresting declaration, something like, "I am old now and have not much to fear from the anger of gods. I will accuse the gods, especially the god who lives on the gray mountain."
Wow, straight into it.
Exactly. She's not just venting. She's actually writing down a formal charge sheet in Greek, hoping some traveler might find it and finally understand her side. She feels like there is no judge between gods and men. It's incredibly bold.
That's a heck of a starting point. And she's writing this from Glome, right? Which is this place with a really stark, almost brutal spiritual atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely. At the center is Unget. She's this terrifying, kind of formless black stone goddess.
Formless.
Yeah, the book says she has no head or hands or faith and a very strong goddess, demands sacrifices, sometimes human ones, and her son. He's the god on the gray mountain, the one Oral's accusing. It's a very primal, fear-based religion.
Okay. And what about her family life within this harsh world?
Well, you've got her father, King Trom. He's prone to these terrible rages, just struggling to keep the kingdom afloat with famines and threats all around.
Right.
But maybe the most crucial figure for Orual, early on, is the fox, Lysias. He's a Greek slave, her tutor.
Ah, the rationalist influence.
Exactly. He brings in Greek philosophy, teaches her to see the gods of Glome as just folly and lies of poets. He's her intellectual rock, but as we'll see, that kind of thinking only takes her so far.
So Oral's getting these conflicting messages right from the start. Rationalism versus this raw, primal fear. And her own self-image is pretty damaged too, isn't it?
Deeply. Her father basically tells the fox, see if you can make her wise. It's about all she'll ever be good for.
Ouch.
Yeah. It cements this belief in her own ugliness. So she pours everything, all her affection, her whole sense of self, into her beautiful younger sister, Psyche.
And that contrast with Psyche is just, it's everything in the story, isn't it? There's another sister, Redival.
Right. Redival's the middle one, described as sort of feather-headed and wanton, more of a minor contrast.
Yeah.
But Psyche, she's the core. Her name in Glome is Istra, Psyche in Greek, and her beauty is something else.
How so?
Lewis writes, it did not astonish you till afterwards. Like she made mud beautiful. When she ran in the rain was silver. Even the fox, the practical one, sees her as a baby and compares her to Helen of Troy.
Wow.
It's this natural, almost divine beauty. It's not just looks, it's a presence, a force that shapes everything around her.
And this amazing beauty, this aura Psyche has, it becomes a real problem, doesn't it? It draws people in, but it also kicks off this terrible chain of events in Glome.
It really does. People start kind of spontaneously worshiping her. They think her touch can heal. They leave offerings for her, even pigeons, which are sacred to Unget.
Oh, that's not good.
No. Orual sees the danger immediately, worried about jealous gods. But the fox, he just waves it away. Superstition.
But things get worse for Glome, right? It's not just superstition playing out.
Not at all. The kingdom gets hit hard. Yeah. Famine, disease, drought. Even lions start showing up again on the Gray Mountain, which hasn't happened in ages. And people connect it all back to King Trom not having any sons, seeing it as Unget's displeasure. The desperation is building.
So the pressure cooker environment, and then the priest of Undet steps in.
Yes, this gaunt, really unsettling, vulture-like figure. He declares Unget's anger is off the charts. It demands the great offerings.
Wait, great offering. That sounds ominous.
It is. The accursed must be sacrificed to the brute, who is either Unget herself or her son, the god of the mountain. And this victim can't be just anyone. They have to be perfect. a bride of Ungit's son.
Perfect. Oh, no.
Exactly. The dread just hangs in the air. They cast holy lots to find the accursed. They rule out the commoners, the elders, the nobles, and the lots point right to the king's house.
So one of the sisters.
The king actually feels relief for a second, thinking it might be Orual or Redival perhaps, but Orual knows instantly, with this awful certainty she realizes, it has to be Psyche, the most perfect one.
And the king.
He just snaps, rejects Oral's pleas to save Psyche, throws her aside violently in this pale rage. It's brutal.
God, that's harsh.
But there's a small moment of kindness. Bardia, the captain of the guard, he's loyal. He lets Orual have one last secret visit with Psyche in her prison room. A final goodbye.
Heartbreaking, but then the story takes a turn on the mountain, doesn't it? Psyche's experience isn't what they expected.
Not at all. She's drugged for the ritual, led up the mountain, but she tells this story later. She says the west wind freed her from her chains.
The wind?
Yeah, and carried her through the air to this incredible palace. Gold and amber, invisible to mortal eyes. She says it's her new home. She's the bride of the god of the mountain.
The god she was meant to be sacrificed to.
The very one. But he only visits her in holy darkness. She's forbidden to see his face or know his name. For Psyche, it's gone from terror to, well, divine rescue.
But Orual doesn't see it that way.
Not even close. This is where the perception clash becomes so critical. Orual is just consumed by grief and this fierce, almost possessive love for Psyche. She goes to the mountain herself with Bardia's help, totally expecting to find Psyche's bones.
And Bardia, what does he think?
Bardia is a God-fearing man. He finds no bones, just a single ruby from Psyche's sandal. For him, that's proof. The god took her.
But Orual, with the fox's teachings.
She just can't accept it. It sounds like madness to her.
So she finds Psyche in this hidden valley, and Psyche is different.
Completely. She's radiant, bright-faced, talking about her invisible palace, her divine husband. But Orual sees nothing, just mist, rocks. Psyche talks about eating food fit for the gods, drinking nobler wine.
Orual
tastes plain berries and water.
Wow, that's quite the disconnect.
It's the heart of it, really, this clash of belief, of perception. Orual sees what she's prepared to see, filtered through rationalism and fear.
So she thinks Psyche's delusional.
Totally convinced
Yeah.
that she's prayed for some shadow brooder felon. Orual argues, if this god was good or beautiful, why hide his face? She demands proof, a clear sign. She hates the god's ambiguity, their cat and mouse play. It's such a human reaction, wanting certainty.
And she pushes Psyche hard.
Desperately. In this awful moment, trying to force Psyche to face what Orual believes is real, she actually wounds herself with a dagger.
She wounds herself to manipulate Psyche.
Lewis calls it torture. It forces Psyche, heartbroken, to swear an oath. She'll take a lamp into her chamber, break the rule, see her husband's face, even though she knows it could destroy everything.
Yeah.
Orual's love becomes incredibly destructive here.
And the result?
Immediate. Terrifying. Orual watches from a distance. There's this blinding, pale light from the palace. Well, the place where Psyche says the palace is. And this powerful golden voice issues this. Passionless and measureless rejection of Orual.
A rejection of Orual.
Yes. And in that moment, Orual says she feels like she knew all along, from the beginning, that Psyche's lover was a god, that her own struggles were just trumped-up foolery. She hears Psyche weeping, and tragically she thinks, I did it. I saved her from a monster.
The irony is just staggering. She thinks she's the hero.
Completely. And she goes back to Glome, takes the throne, and she starts wearing a veil.
A veil?
It's partly to hide her perceived ugliness, but it also makes her seem mysterious, powerful, even awful to her people. It becomes this symbol of her hidden self, maybe her hardening heart, and she becomes this incredibly effective ruler.
But joyless, you said.
Yeah, hard and joyless, all logic, all control. She reforms the minds, makes shrewd political alliances, even fights in single combat to secure peace. She builds Glome up, makes it strong, but it's all external, the internal cost that comes later.
And that cost involves Bardia, her loyal captain.
Devastatingly so. Years pass. Bardia, her closest friend, gets really sick. Arnim, the new priest, actually advises Orual not to visit him. Says Bardia is so devoted, seeing her would just drain his remaining strength.
Oof.
After Bardia dies, his widow Anseat confronts Orual, and she just lays it bare. Tells Orual that her constant demands, her relentless work ethic, it drank up his blood year by year and ate out his life. Drained him just like Ungit drains the life out of Glome.
Well, like Ungit.
It's a gut punch. Orual finally sees her love for Bardia wasn't love. It was this sickening thing, a gnawing greed. It's her first real, agonizing look at the destructive side of her own affections.
That must have shattered her. Ansett basically holds up a mirror.
It's pivotal. It forces her to confront her own inner Ungit, even before she fully gets it. And then, not long after, she has this terrifying vision, looks in a mirror, and sees Ungit's face staring back.
Her own face becomes Ungit.
Yes, swollen, brooding, infinitely female, like the old nurse Bada's smothering presence. And the horror hits her. I was Ungit, I in her and she in me, that ruinous face was mine. She sees herself as this all-devouring, womb-like yet barren thing at the heart of her own kingdom.
That's intense. Lewis is really saying our deepest accusations against others, or even God, might just be reflections of our own hidden darkness, isn't he?
Exactly. Where are we, that devouring Ungit in our own lives, you know? And just as she's grappling with this, something else happens. She hears Psyche's story being told, but it's wrong.
Wrong how?
She meets this priest from Assyria on her travels. And he tells a version where Istra, Psyche, was rescued by a god named Elim, taken to his visible palace, and Ungit, called Talipal in his story, was just this jealous villain trying to stop them.
A simpler, cleaner version?
Much simpler. And Orual is enraged. She feels like the gods deliberately hid the messy, unclear truth from her, let her guess wrong, suffer for it, and then put out this easy-to-swallow fairy tale for everyone else. It highlights how truth gets twisted, externally and internally.
Which leads her to the climax of her internal journey, right? The divine court.
Yes. She has this vision. She's stripped bare, literally and figuratively, before this assembly of the dead. And she's told, read your complaint, the one she wrote down all those years ago.
The accusation against the gods.
But when she looks at it, it's become this vile scribble. And reading it aloud, the words change. Her real complaint isn't that the gods were cruel or ugly, it's that they were beautiful, and that they'd stolen Psyche's love from her. She admits she wanted Psyche to be hers, even if Psyche was miserable. She cries out, we'd rather they were ours and dead than yours and made immortal. It's this raw, ugly truth. Her love was possessive, devouring. That was the real grievance.
What a moment of self-revelation, just brutal honesty.
Excruciating, but essential. Even the fox shows up as a ghost and admits his own glibness. Says his Greek philosophy was only part of the picture, that the path of the true gods is more like Ungit's temple, dark, costly, demanding sacrifice, the very heart roots of a man. He admits he just gave oral words, not the deeper truth found in suffering.
And then comes the judgment, or the answer.
Kind of both. The judge in the vision tells her, your complaint was the answer.
The complaint was the answer. How?
Orual gets it then. Voicing her deepest, ugliest, most selfish truth, that was the necessary step. That was how she could finally see truly and be seen. It brings to mind that key line. How can they meet us face to face till we have faces?
So you need to know your own true face, warts and all, before you can really encounter the divine, or maybe even truly connect with anyone.
That's the profound insight, I think. We need to drop the masks, confront our own inner Ungit, our own selfishness, before real connection is possible.
It's a powerful idea.
And there's one last vision. Orual and the fox see these paintings showing Psyche doing those impossible tasks from the original myth, sorting seeds, getting water from the underworld river.
Right, the trials.
But in these paintings, Psyche looks unscathed, almost happy, helped by ants, things like that. And Orual sees that another bore nearly all the anguish.
Another? Who?
Orual realizes she was the other. She performed those labors, metaphorically, through her own lifetime of suffering, her own relentless, misguided, possessive love. Her pain, paradoxically, shielded Psyche, allowed Psyche's relative ease and happiness.
So her suffering wasn't pointless, it actually did something for Psyche.
In a way, yes. It's a complex, almost mystical idea. But it brings Orual peace. She finally understands.
And that leads to her final moments.
Yes. She's close to death, accepting this complex truth. Her last words are unfinished. She's writing them down. I know now, Lord, why you utter no answer. You are yourself the answer. Before your face questions die away, what other answer would suffice? Only words. Words. To be led out to battle against other words. Long did I hate you. Long did I fear you. I might... And then she dies. Arnhem, the priest, finds her and praises her wisdom, her mercy, acknowledges her transformation.
Wow. What an incredible arc. From that bitter accuser to someone who finds peace through just radical self-knowledge, her story really makes you rethink love, justice, what we even want deep down.
It absolutely does. Orual's journey to finally see her own Ungit face, to realize her possessive love was actually a kind of devouring, Such a powerful mirror.
Yeah.
Makes you ask, how much of our own affection is really about the other person's good and how much is about our need to control, to possess? Are we loving or are we consuming?
That's a tough question, and this deep dive really leaves us with something provocative, doesn't it? Like, what unseen faces, what inner ungets are we wearing without even knowing it?
And could our own complaints against life, against God, against others, maybe those complaints are the answers we're looking for, if we just had the guts to speak them honestly, without the masks?
It's a challenge, for sure, to look inside, not just for the good stuff, but for the messy, the ugly, the complicated truth that ultimately make us who we are.
It makes you wonder, yeah, what revelations are waiting if we just dared to voice our own real, unvarnished complaint, something to really chew on.